Before he even turned 19, he had already won it all. Championships, MVP honors, records most players only dream about. But somehow, he wasn't the #1 pick in the NBA draft, and that still blows people's minds to this day. Fast forward 6 years, and Luka Dončić has become one of the most gifted players basketball has ever seen. The kind of talent you don't just watch, you feel. "I've always had a basketball in my hands," Luka once said. And when you hear his story, you'll understand why. Today, we're diving into the unbelievable journey of Luka Magic, the story of how a boy from the small streets of Slovenia became one of the biggest stars in the NBA. It all starts with his father, Sasha Doncic, a professional basketball player in Slovenia and the man who unknowingly set Luka on a path to greatness.
So let go. Luka grew up with basketball woven into every part of his life. He wasn't even old enough to form full sentences when he first watched his father play in a live game, but the sound of the ball hitting the hardwood and the roar of the crowd stuck with him. He would run out at halftime or before the game to shoot around, even though at 3 years old he couldn't reach the rim. By 5, he was already playing regularly, and by 8, he walked into his first real basketball practice, a session that lasted only 16 minutes before the coach realized Luka was far too advanced for his age group. They immediately bumped him up to play with 12-year-olds. Even that wasn't enough. Within a short time, the coaches moved him to Olympia's club team, a place reserved only for the most serious young athletes. Luka spent his days watching, learning, and playing, always against kids older, stronger, and more experienced. In those early years, he wasn't the star or the top scorer. He played more of a supporting role, still finding his place. His feet had grown faster than the rest of his body, making him a bit clumsy at times. But that awkwardness forced him to think smarter on the court. It sharpened his vision, his timing, his decision-making. Off the court, older teammates treated him like a little brother, but once the ball was in play, Luka made it clear he might be younger, but he wasn't going to be pushed around.
At just 13, Luka Dončić stepped onto the court in Rome for an international under-13 tournament, and for the first time, he was facing kids his own age. Standing at 5'1", he didn't look like someone who could dominate an entire tournament, but the moment the ball tipped, it was clear his game was on a whole different level. He weaved through defenders like they were standing still, firing no-look passes that left the crowd gasping, and knocking down jumpers so smooth they barely touched the rim. Then came the final game, and Luka turned it into his personal showcase. 54 points, a triple-double, a 104-76 win that wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. He didn't just play well, he controlled every possession, every tempo, every moment. Averaging 34 points per game, he walked away with the MVP trophy, and suddenly, every youth scout in Europe knew his name. At 13 years old, Luka wasn't just the best young basketball player on the continent. He was the most sought-after athlete in all of Europe, no matter the sport. It was the moment the legend started to take shape.
6 months later, Luka made the boldest move of his young life. At just 13, he left behind everything he knew: his family, his friends, his school, the comfort of home, to join Real Madrid. "I had to leave all my family, all my friends, the school. I was there, everything, he recalled. For most kids, that kind of change would be overwhelming. But Luka was different. He was already mature beyond his years, and this challenge forced him to grow up even faster. The problem was, he didn't speak Spanish or English, only a few basic phrases like hello and how are you? And Real Madrid wasn't exactly a place where patience was given out freely. Known worldwide as a football powerhouse, their basketball team hadn't lifted a trophy in 5 years. Young prospects often came and went, unable to break into the first team. But Luka wasn't just another name on the roster. From the moment he stepped onto the court, he dominated youth tournaments, collected MVP awards, and showed the kind of skill that made people take notice. He learned Spanish quickly, adapted to a new culture, and proved that even at 13, he wasn't afraid of the pressure or the spotlight. This wasn't just a move to a new club. It was the beginning of a transformation that would set him on the path to becoming a legend. At just 15, Luka Dončić was already training with Real Madrid's senior team, going toe-to-toe with men who had been pros for years. By 16, he stepped onto the court for his official debut, shattering records as the youngest ever to play for Real Madrid and the third youngest in league history. The 2015-16 season made it clear he wasn't just a kid with potential,
He was a core part of the squad. But it was at 17, during the 2016-17 season, that Luka truly erupted. In December, before even turning 18, he was named Spanish League Player of the Week. Just days later, he faced Žalgiris in the EuroLeague and delivered a performance for the ages, becoming the youngest MVP of the round. But it wasn't just the titles, it was how he did it. With the game on the line, Luka waved off his teammates, demanded the ball, and drilled clutch shots like a cold-blooded veteran. He played without fear, with the poise of someone who had been bred for high-pressure moments. In the toughest competition Europe had to offer, Luka wasn't just keeping up, he was the best player on the floor.
By the end of the 2016-2017 season, Luka had turned heads across Europe, earning the EuroLeague Rising Star Award unanimously and being named the Spanish League's best young player. But his story was just getting started. That summer, he joined the Slovenian national team for the 2017 Eurobasket, teaming up with veteran star Goran Dragic to form one of the most dangerous backcourts in the tournament. The spotlight didn't scare him, it fueled him. In the quarterfinals against Latvia, a high-scoring thriller that ended 103-97, Luka dropped 27 points and pulled down 9 rebounds, playing with the confidence of someone twice his age. In the semifinals against powerhouse Spain, he delivered a masterclass in control, putting up 11 points, grabbing 12 rebounds, and dishing out 8 assists without a single turnover, an almost unheard-of stat line on such a stage. Then came the final against Serbia. Luka started strong, adding 8 points and 7 rebounds before an injury forced him to leave the game. Many thought Slovenia might falter without him, but they pushed through and won gold. Luka's impact was undeniable. His energy, leadership, and skill had helped carry his country to the top. He was named to the all-tournament team, averaging 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists, proving that even at such a young age, he was already one of the best on the international stage. In the 2018 club season, Luka Dončić wasn't just playing for Real Madrid, he was running the show. Night after night, he controlled the offense with a mix of confidence and creativity that made him look like a seasoned pro, not a teenager. In both the Spanish League and the EuroLeague, he dominated, stacking up Player of the Round and Player of the Month awards as if it were routine. He even recorded the first triple-double in the Spanish League since 2007, a rare feat that sent a clear message: this kid was different. Luka had a knack for showing up in the biggest moments, drilling game winners with ice in his veins, and never shying away from the spotlight. And when the stakes were highest, he delivered again, leading Real Madrid to the EuroLeague title. At just 19 years old, he became the youngest player ever to be named Final Four MVP and regular season MVP in the same year. As if that wasn't enough, he repeated the feat in the Spanish League, winning season MVP there too. It was a year that didn't just prove his talent, it proved that Luka was ready for the next stage, no matter how bright the lights would get. In just 3 years as a pro, Luka Dončić became Europe's version of LeBron, controlling games like a one-man orchestra. He could score, pass, rebound, and make plays nobody else saw coming. But when it came time for the 2018 NBA draft, doubts still followed him. Some NBA executives thought his game wouldn't work in the league, and because of that, he slipped to the 3rd pick, then was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. At first, he had to share the ball, but within 6 weeks he was a starter, and by December, he was putting up 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists a night. He became the youngest player ever to get a triple-double and the first teenager with a 30-point triple-double. By his 2nd season, he was already first-team All-NBA, averaging 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. In 2020 playoffs, he dropped 42 points in his debut, then delivered a 43-point triple-double capped off with a game-winning buzzer beater. The Mavericks fell to the Clippers that year and again in 2021, but Luka kept smashing records and earned another first-team All-NBA. In 2022, he led the Dallas to a stunning Game 7 blowout over the Suns before falling to the Warriors in the conference finals. And in 2023, he put up a mind-blowing 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists in a single game. But despite his brilliance, the Mavericks missed the playoffs. In January against Atlanta, he didn't just play basketball, he created history,
dropping 73 points, the fourth highest scoring game the NBA has ever seen. Every move, every pivot, every shot felt like art in motion, his footwork and court vision bending the game to his will. "I just call it a slow step, but I never really practiced that one," he said with that humble smile, as if something so deadly could just happen by accident. And that's the scary thing. This is nowhere near his ceiling. Luka is only 25, and yet if he walked away from the game today, his name would still belong among the legends. But for Luka Magic, the story isn't done. It's just getting started. What do you think? Will Luka go down as the greatest European player of all time? Let me know in the comments. And if you loved this story, you need to watch the next video right here.